Hi there. I've been playing with some little cards to make to just have available for any occasion. And I was also playing around with a flat brush for these flowers for a change. Flat brushes are the obvious choice, whatever size you get. If you're going to have landscaping, something that's a fence or something flat or a home or the horizon line. But a lot of times people don't think of them for flowers. So I wanted to show you how to make something similar to this and also introduce you to the bone folder if you're not familiar with it. So I'm taking half of a 9 by 12 that I just cut in half. And first thing I'm going to do is fold it and make my own card. With or without envelope is never needed. I guarantee if you give a little card that says handmade by you on the back or made with love, you'll be all in their heart and will give them a real kindness. So I have a drawer of these that I make and I pull out for different occasions. I fold it over and measure it so that it's definitely going to be a nice flat one. And normally that's all I do. I go like this in the past. A lot of you do this, maybe on both sides, maybe you use a pen, but I have a better way for you. And that is a bone folder. This is actually made from a real cattle bone. And it's made for what I'm going to show you, but it also, by the way, releases your paper very well when you're working off of a block. So I'm just going to go just like this. Listen to the sound. It's a satisfying sound. Hear that click? That means you are in business. And this makes the card so flat and so card-like that it's amazing. It's a simple, easy fix. And I recommend these. You can get them in acrylic or in real bone, but it's called a bone folder. Now, once I've folded and made the system of what I'm going to use for my card, I can decide to paint this way to open up. And if this is my back, make sure you sign it, made for you with love, whatever you want to do in your name. Or you can use my name and then send my love all over. But I could either do it this way, I could do it this way. I don't know what I'm in the mood for. I did one a minute ago this way, preparing to show you this. So maybe this time I will paint it in a more horizontal landscape view, right? So I'm going to start. I've got lots of flat brushes. Sometimes I use them when I'm doing wet on wet, and I just get the water super fast with a hacky brush. Sometimes I use them for bigger items. This is one of my favorites. It's a Mottler. Princeton, make sure you get the Aqua Elite if you're thinking about getting it. It's just so wonderful the way that it saturates with the paint, the way that it handles well. And I've done larger flowers similar to the ones I'm going to show you today. Today, though, I'm not even going to use a real special brush like one of my silver black velvet. I'm using a 1/2 inch. They're called flat or square. And I'm just going to have fun laying down some bright pink flowers. These might be poppies, but they're probably just my made up generic field flower type of flower. So today I'm using Graham. I have a cool little palette that I assembled with a ceramic porcelain flower that I put into one of the molds, and I just love it. I love having unique palettes. Graham, if you're not familiar with it, very vivid, very lush and moist, and it has honey base. I'm going to use Quinn Rose. And here we go. Let us begin. So if you pull down, I'm going to do a 2-stroke, just like with the rounds, if you're familiar with those. And sometimes maybe just one to do a side. And here's another 2. The thing I believe with flowers and petals is that many times they're not done until you put the center in, and that really confirms that it's a flower. So at this point, I'm just still playing, figuring out what my flower is going to look like, which direction it's facing, and where the petals will be. So I might turn it sideways, do a couple little buds trying to come out. I might dip it in water, just the very tip. Don't forget that water evaporates or is used up quicker than the pigment, than the paint on your brush. So many times, instead of rinsing and going back in your palette, just simply tip the very like 1/16 of an inch, 1/8 of an inch into your water, and you'll have it good to go. And it might be thinner, but I'll tell you what, sometimes that's the way you want it too. You want it a little bit lighter and have a little variety. That's what I think. So I'm doing a little front petal there. Have fun with these. I like doing flat brush flowers. They always have a different look, and that makes them just a little bit more artsy and unique. Let's see, I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 flowers. I guess I'll leave them. Let me continue on. Another thing you can do with your flat brush is you can take the side of it, and I am rinsing it off. Since I have this palette, I'm using neutral tint. You could use Payne's Gray or any other dark color. And I'm going to find the center of my flower now. And now it's going to remind me that it truly is a flower. Now, if your flower is still slightly damp, you may have a little bit of that running off and blending out to the other paints, and that's more than fine. And if you don't, and it's dry, that's fine too. It's fun with watercolor to see what happens as you add the paint. Now I'm going to go to Daniel Smith, and I'm going to go to my number 4 brush. I'm going back to a round, just to have a little bit more control. I'm going to undersea green, which is one of my favorite colors. If you don't have it, I would mix just a little bit of burnt sienna with your sap, and you will be good to go. I'm just kind of creating just a little collage or little display together, a little arrangement of these unknown flowers, because I'm making them up. I'm big on making things up as you go. You know, when you're an artist, you just have that freedom. You can just do whatever you want. So there's a couple of stems. Now I'm going to have fun with them. I'm going to make them a little thicker as they go up in some of the places. I'm going to add some leaves on them. And I think I'm going to do skinny, press down, release on a couple of these. And then I'll do some that are just straight out and come like just 2 little, similar to the way. Let me do this one kind of drooping down, and maybe this side is too. One never knows with these make-believe leaves what they want to do. And just kind of carry on underneath or on top, wherever you want them, wherever your little heart wants them. I am getting a little bit more water, having some lighter ones. I'm also going to do some little blades of grass, kind of making them a little bit more wildflower looking. And I'm just lifting them over. And if I go into the pink and release it a little bit, don't forget that on the color wheel, red and green, and pink, of course, is in that family, are the ones that are going to make a nice contrast with each other. They are complementary, right? That one I think everyone can and should remember. Red and green are easy colors to remember. So we got this. Now I think I'm going to, just to add to the fun, do a little bit, and let me cover the back with, there we go. Let me pull back so it's in the frame. I'm going to do a little paint splatter. Make sure you tap on something that won't get ruined. If I see people tapping on expensive wooden handle brushes, that always makes me feel a little concerned for that. Or you can take your finger and tap, or tap like this, or use a toothbrush, whatever your heart desires. And there is this card. And what I love with this card, let me get a paper towel a minute. What I love with this card, by the way, for those of you that always are curious what I'm using, this is a cutting board, a restaurant quality black cutting board. And I love it because it just wipes right off. So here is this card. And when it's dry, I'll probably do that bone folder one more time. But here's this little card. Here's the one I made right before. And here is me just playing with the flat brush techniques. So I think they're just really pretty. Isn't that interesting? Each one I have the top left looking reasonably similar. See, a mind is interesting, isn't it, to figure out? So I hope you enjoyed it. I'll put my little palette in the photo too. Click. There we are with our flowers. I hope that was a joy for you, relaxing and fun. And I'm Sandra, and I hope to see you again soon. Until next time, God bless.